Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari vows to ensure that no Nigerian child is infected with the polio virus again. African ambassadors in Nigeria call for concerted efforts to defeat Boko Haram, say Africa is not stable without peace in Nigeria. Crack in pro-APC group of lawmakers, as some members formerly opposed to House Speaker make U-turn. Others insist that there is no change in their position. And US President Barack Obama in his homeland, Kenya, says Africa is future hub of growth.
On business news tonight, equities at the Nigerian stock market and positive despite 3 negative trading sessions.
And on sports news, the journey to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia begins in November as the Super Eagles face Djibouti or Swaziland in the second round of qualifying.
We begin tonight with what many Nigerians will consider cheery news, that is, the President's declaration that his administration will do all within its powers to ensure that no Nigerian child is ever infected with the polio virus. President Muhammadu Buhari, who said this at the presidential villa to mark Nigeria's successful completion of 1 year without any reported case of the wild polio virus, added that he looked forward to the formal declaration of Nigeria as a polio-free country in 2017. President Buhari, who personally vaccinated one of his grandchildren against polio at the occasion to demonstrate his commitment to eradicating the virus from Nigeria, said the federal government will deploy all necessary resources to eradicate the disease.
Today, 25th of July 2015, Nigeria has successfully completed 1 year without any case of the wild polio virus. Achieving this feat has now placed us firmly on the path to eradicating this paralyzing disease from our shores. To further demonstrate the commitment of this administration to eradicating polio from Nigeria, I am today vaccinating my grandchildren to once again demonstrate the safety and efficacy of the polio vaccine. The federal government will ensure no child in Nigeria will ever again be paralyzed with polio. We shall leave no soul unturned, and the necessary resources shall be mobilized efficiently, utilized to finish the job of polio eradication. I also seize the opportunity to call on governors, our traditional and religious leaders, the private sector, and our mothers and fathers to redouble their efforts in ensuring that every child and every newborn is vaccinated with the polio vaccine and other life-saving routine vaccines. In conclusion, I wish to extend the profound appreciation of the government and good people of Nigeria to our partners and friends of Nigeria who have supported the polio eradication program in various ways. On a special note, I extend my appreciation to the Executive Director and staff of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and its National Polio Emergency Operations Center. I wish all Nigerians
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. All African ambassadors have condemned the activities of the Boko Haram sect in Nigeria's northeast. Speaking at the 52nd African Day celebration in Abuja, the Dean of the African Ambassadors Group, Ambassador Yobe, said that the African countries must come together to fight the insurgents. The ambassadors said that peace and stability in Nigeria is imperative because Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy.
These are diplomats representing several African countries in Nigeria. They have gathered to mark the 52nd anniversary of Africa Day and the Nelson Mandela International Day. It was a time to display the best of African culture. However, it was also a time to discuss issues affecting the African continent. The Dean of the African Ambassadors Group laid the foundation for discussion by condemning the activities of the Boko Haram sect.
The terrorist attacks of Boko Haram in Nigeria, and also we stand by the side of Nigeria, and we declared that whatever is necessary that the Nigerian government and the good people of Nigeria will need in terms of assistance, cooperation, collaboration from the African government.
The diplomats recognize the role Nigeria plays on the African continent, and they hope that their countries can play a role in Nigeria's fight against terrorism.
You know, the world is a small space now, it's a smaller place, and whatever happens here happens in Egypt. Whatever happens in Egypt happens everywhere else. So we really need to coincide our efforts together and join hands to combat any kind of terror that can threaten and jeopardize our lives and the lives of our peoples everywhere, either in Egypt or Nigeria or Africa in general. This is the main theme that we have to coordinate, and we have to solidate with each other to fight this evil.
So South Africa cannot leave Nigeria to be faced with this challenge without complementing their efforts. It is just that certain things need to happen before we can come in. For instance, we need to be approached by Nigeria.
If the statements from these diplomats are anything to go by, Nigeria can find allies among her African brothers to combat the Boko Haram threat. From Abuja, Paul Nwachukwu, Channels Television News.
None of the 17 local government areas in Yobe State is under the Boko Haram control, so says the state government. In a statement, the government advised that reports on several mainstream and online media claiming otherwise are untrue and misleading. The government admits that insecurity in the state is still a concern, demanding that additional troops and weaponry should be deployed to Yobe State to sustain the momentum against Boko Haram. In keeping with its commitment towards global peace and its obligation to the United Nations, Nigeria is deploying another batch of 700 officers and men on its military to Liberia on a peacekeeping mission. During the passing out ceremony of the soldiers at the Nigerian Army Peacekeeping Center, Jaji, Kaduna State, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, warned them against acts of negligence during the operation in Liberia. The Army Chief was also at the combined graduation ceremony of Basic Airborne Course 37 and Basic Rigger Course 23 of the Airborne Wing of the Nigerian Army School of Infantry, also in Jaji.
The arrival of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, paved way for proceedings at the Nigerian Army Peacekeeping Center, Jaji. The soldiers showed the Chief of Army Staff what they have been trained to do, especially with the rifle. And as if to provide some inspiration, the Army Chief joins in the exercise session. The Commandant of the Peacekeeping Center, Major General Imomotimi Birigeni, says he is certain that the troops are well armed for the task ahead.
The training was intensive and comprehensive in line with the United Nations pre-deployment models. The mission-specific training received by the unit is meant to provide the troops with requisite skills to enable them operate under the prevailing conditions in Liberia in the most professional manner.
And still in Jaji, the Chief of Army Staff witnessed the combined graduation ceremony of Basic Airborne Course 37 and Basic Rigger Course 23 of the Airborne Wing of the Nigerian Army School of Infantry. Considering the current security situations in the country, General Buratai challenged the troops to adopt offensive disposition and respond quickly and appropriately to all situations.
The era of waiting in defensive positions for criminals to come and attack, then escape, must be stopped. We must take the battle to them and dislodge them wherever they are. I therefore want you to show your commitment to this vision In view of our current challenges, your primary assignment in contributing your quota to the national service in line with my vision is to strive towards eradicating the menace of terrorism from our country.
Since 1960, when it inducted its first peacekeeping contingent to Congo, the Nigerian Army has contributed to several peacekeeping operations at continental and regional levels, and this it hopes to continue while ensuring peace in the northeast of Nigeria.
In part two, after the break, two pro-APC leadership groups of lawmakers differ on the resolution of the dispute over House principal officers. Stay with us.